Imagine this, it's the 1st of December, 1948. The sun is just rising over Somerton Park Beach in Adelaide, Australia. A couple strolling along the sand spots a man, well-dressed in a suit and tie, slumped against the seawall. He looks like he's sleeping. But as they get closer, they realize he isn't breathing. The man is dead. And this is just the beginning of one of the most baffling and enduring mysteries Australia has ever seen. When police arrived, they found a scene that was strangely pristine. The man had no wallet, no identification, not even a hat, which was unusual for the time. His clothes were neat, his shoes were polished, but curiously, all the labels had been meticulously cut from his clothing. It was as if someone wanted to erase his identity completely. An autopsy was performed, but the cause of death couldn't be determined. Doctors suspected poisoning, perhaps a rare, undetectable type, but there was no proof. The man was a ghost. For weeks, the press dubbed him the Unknown Man. The investigation seemed to be at a dead end. But then, months later, a breakthrough, or what seemed like one. A local businessman came forward. He said that on the day before the man was found, a suitcase had been left in the cloakroom of Adelaide's railway station. The suitcase was checked in, but never claimed. When police opened it, they found clothing inside, and on some of the items they found a name, T. Keen. Excitement built. Was this our man? But a search for any missing person named T. Keen turned up nothing. And strangely, just like the clothes on the body, some labels in the suitcase were also missing. It was another carefully laid, confusing trail. The real twist, the one that cemented this case in the annals of true crime, came from a tiny, hidden pocket sewn into the man's trousers. Tucked inside was a small, tightly rolled piece of paper. On it were two words, printed in a distinctive, ornate font, Tamam Shud. Police were baffled. What did it mean? They turned to experts, who identified it as a Persian phrase from a famous collection of poems called the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam. The meaning, it is ended or it is finished. This clue sent the investigation into a frenzy. Was this a suicide note? A final, poetic message? Police put out a nationwide appeal, asking the public to check their copies of the Rubaiyat for a missing final page. The appeal worked. A man who chose to remain anonymous came forward. He told police that shortly after the body was discovered, he found a rare edition of the Rubaiyat in the back of his car, which he'd left unlocked near Somerton Beach. He hadn't thought anything of it and had just tossed it into his glove compartment. But after seeing the police appeal, he checked the book. The last page, the one with the words Tamam Shud, was torn out. The paper and the tear matched the scrap found on the dead man perfectly. This was the book. This had to be the key, and inside the book, investigators found something even more cryptic. Faintly penciled on the back cover was what looked like a code. It was a series of seemingly random capital letters, 5 lines of them. The second line was even struck through. Cryptographers from the military and intelligence agencies were called in. They studied the letters, trying every known cipher, every possible pattern. But the code was unbreakable. To this day, no one knows what it means. Is it a complex cipher, a list of initialisms, or just the random scribbles of a disturbed mind? We still don't have an answer. The book also contained another vital clue, a phone number. It belonged to a young nurse named Jessica Jo Thompson, who lived just a short walk from Somerton Beach. When police questioned her, she was evasive and seemed distressed. She denied knowing the dead man or anything about the book. But when she was shown a plaster cast of the man's face, witnesses said she looked absolutely shocked, almost as if she were about to faint, though she still denied recognizing him. She did admit, however, that she had once owned a copy of the Rubaiyat and had given it to a man she knew during World War II, an army lieutenant named Alf Boxall. Could this be the Somerton Man? For a moment, it seemed the case was solved. Police tracked down Alf Boxall, who was very much alive and living in another city. He even still had his copy of the Rubaiyat, the one Jessica had given him, complete with her inscription. and its final page was intact. It wasn't the book. So, the dead man wasn't Alf Boxall, but the connection to Jessica Thomson was too strong to be a coincidence. Who was the man she was trying so hard to deny? Why did she react so strongly to seeing his face? Her involvement only deepened the mystery. For the rest of her life, she refused to speak publicly about the case, taking whatever secrets she held to her grave in 2007. Over the decades, theories have swirled. Was the Somerton Man a Cold War spy? The cryptic code, the untraceable poison, the removed labels, it all fits the profile of espionage. Adelaide was a hub for intelligence operations at the time, home to a rocket testing range and uranium mines. Perhaps he was an agent, either a friend or foe, whose mission had ended one way or another. The Tamam should note could have been a signal, or was it a more personal tragedy? A lover's quarrel, a secret affair gone wrong. Perhaps he was the father of Jessica's son, a secret she couldn't afford to have revealed. His features were said to be similar to her son's, and some even pointed out to rare genetic conditions they both shared. In 2021, there was a huge development. After decades of requests, the Somerton man's body was exhumed. Modern DNA technology offered a new hope of finally giving him a name. Researchers painstakingly worked to build a family tree from the degraded DNA samples. And in 2022, one prominent researcher, Derek Abbott, announced a bombshell. He claimed he had successfully used forensic genealogy to identify the Somerton man as Carl Charles Webb, an electrical engineer and instrument maker from Melbourne. Webb was born in 1905, had a wife he had separated from, and had disappeared in 1947. He even had a connection to the name T. Keane, as his brother-in-law was named Thomas Keane. It seemed like the 70-year-old mystery was finally solved, but it's not quite that simple. This identification was made by independent researchers, and as of now, it hasn't been officially confirmed by South Australian police. The official case file remains open. While the name Carl Charles Webb is the most promising lead we've ever had, it still doesn't answer the biggest questions. Why did he end up on that beach? What does the code mean? And what was his true connection to Jessica Thomson? Why did he have a piece of paper that said it is finished? The story of the Somerton Man remains a haunting puzzle. It is a tale of a man who walked out of the world as silently as he entered it, leaving behind a trail of bizarre clues that lead us in circles. He is a testament to the fact that even in our modern world of technology and information, some secrets refuse to be uncovered. He is Australia's most enduring enigma, the man who was, and perhaps in some ways still is, the unknown man. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into one of history's greatest mysteries. What do you think happened to the Somerton Man? Let me know your theories in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next exploration into the unknown.